You made it lock in. Court lights flicker, I'm feeling that tip-off fever. NBA dreams spin tight like a crossover sleeper. Fourth and inches in the cold, crowd breathing like smoke. NFL grit in my voice when the pressure get woke. Engine scream through the night, that F1 razor. Lines cut clean, turn sharp like a hometown savior. NASCAR drift in my blood when the pace gets wild. I talk speed like a veteran, move calm like a smile. Legends born out of sweat, out of heartbreaks echo. I break plays down smooth, call the game like a maestro. Every lane that we touch, every story we show, this is where the truth runs. The Not Bland Show. Fast, race, whole crowd froze. Big drives, deep shots, watch the moment explode. Every angle hit heavy with a champion's glow. Step into the kingdom, the Not Bland Show.
Lock in.
You made it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's lock in to the Not Bland Show. I'm your host, Dujane Bland. I want to thank you guys for showing up. Make sure you are liking, sharing this show with a friend, telling everybody we're here. We're going to talk about a multitude of things here within the world of sports. And, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to have a little fun doing it. Nothing set for tonight. Would have loved to have had a guest, but people are busy, and sometimes you can't get people. But I love doing this thing and being able to show my skill that, I can carry the show. This is what I do. I want to thank everybody who supports us, Sports Journey, of course, VTR and Sports for their help and support as well here, powered by ESPN. I want to thank Drag Race Bracket Bonanza for supporting and sponsoring this show. We will talk a little bit about that and what we have going into this week of the 4-wide. We'll explain it a little bit because it is a little different than what we're used to, because there's a few other elements. I want to say hello to everyone, and thank you guys for tuning in. And man, it's interesting week of sports. We've got drag racing. We've got the NFL draft. We have the NBA playoffs. I'm going to be honest with you. The NBA playoffs just don't do anything for me at the moment. There's so many other things going on, and I have heard there have been some pretty good games. I have caught a few, but we'll get more locked into the NBA here maybe in the next coming days. It is just one of those things where I have to kind of get in the rhythm of that, because I just don't think the NBA is as what it used to be. I am a really big fan of the WNBA, always have been really, but I love the WNBA because it is what the NBA used to be. Hard defense, tough in the paint defense. There are, the ball is being passed around. There's actually plays being run, and there's actual defense being played. So it's just a different game. Definitely love watching the WNBA, and I can't wait for it to come around. Hopefully they will get everything they need to get done, and be able to start the season, because they have a bargaining agreement to do. Only 4-wide of the year. Yeah, that's right. There's only one this year because of the changes, which I'm good with. Let's have some variety. It's always a good thing. Like he said, I was happy I was wrong about the Flyers. We may not be first round exits. Yeah, they're playing pretty good. It's going to be interesting NHL playoffs, I think. There are some teams that I thought wouldn't be as good within this first round, but I think we've had some pretty decent action from what I've been able to catch over the last, couple of games. But we'll get to the NHRA. We will start with the NFL, and we had the NFL draft starting on Thursday. Will be round one of the NFL draft, and there. This is a draft that I believe it does not present a plethora of players that are must have, that are generational talents. They're good. There are players that are very good at their position, but that generational talent is one of those things that's yet to be seen. You know those drafts where you know a guy's just that dang good and he's going to come in and affect the game year one. And I think there are going to be some contributors year one. You got to look at Jeremiah Love. You look at, I don't care about his short arms, but Bain it has a bend like no other when you're talking about an edge rusher trying to get around the corner and after the quarterback. He has a bend like no other. There's really no big time quarterbacks. I really don't look at Fernando Mendoza as a generational talent. I think he is a student of the game and can be a guy. I'm not trying to compare him to Tom Brady, but can be a guy that because of his consistent study and the fact that he will be in the books, he will do all that he can to learn not just the playbook, but learn how to read NFL defenses and the complexity of those. He will be a good player. And it was a great job by the Raiders to pick up Kirk Cousins because I think that is a really good comp for him. I'll be honest with you. If I'm the Raiders, because I have other needs, I would have traded out of the first round. I'd have traded out of the number one pick. And I know it sounds crazy. You got a quarterback there that, sitting there, and that's something that you need. Well, they also need an offensive line that will protect him. And I understand they brought Kirk Cousins in, and that's great. But if that offensive line is not going to be good, we saw what Kirk does with an offensive line that's not that good. Go watch the tape in Atlanta. A lot of it was because the offensive line just did not hold up in what he likes to do, and that's run the football and play action off of that. And you can't play action when you got guys that can't hold water. So hopefully they can find some way to better, that offensive line and be able to give Kirk some time because I really don't think that Mendoza needs to be a day one starter. I think it would behoove them to protect their investment. You have a veteran in Kirk Cousins there. He now knows his role, that he is there to help Fernando Mendoza. And that's going to be a great relationship. It's going to be something that he can, really learn and have that time to learn. And you're only going to be able to have that time to learn if you can allow Kirk to play a little bit, because you all know how the voices get and the fans get when there's not production being made on the field. They're going to quickly want to see the number one draft pick. I don't think management or general managers or owners should be listening to fans, but sometimes that's what we get. I am really just looking forward to seeing a lot of what these teams ahead are doing. Raiders have the first pick. Jets have pick number 2. Will they fumble it? Just hoping Mendoza goes somewhere where he can develop. I think if they do the right thing, that he can develop. But Kirk has to have success, because you already know if he doesn't have success, you saw it in Atlanta. They pulled the plug way too early and brought in Michael Penix. So one quarterback can't save a team. You can't expect a rookie to go out and be a hero. I honestly think you shouldn't be able to draft a quarterback first round because it just kills so many careers. It really does. It really does. And what the problem is, Drag Race Mayhem, is the fact that these teams have forgotten that the development is important. And we've gotten into a few years where we've had quarterbacks that were day one starters. And as we've gone on in time, those that you know pot of day one starters have diminished. But there have been other quarterbacks that have been taken within that people talked about being day one starters. And some of these analysts, I really don't know what you watch, because I really don't care about his combine and his stupid pro day. The tape says otherwise. I mean, there's several quarterbacks that people put on pedestals and they never panned out to be anything. And it was very clear they weren't going to pan out to be anything. I mean, just evaluate the tape and stop trying to read into things. Um, that has been the missing link for a long time, and why teams have had issues having and drafting quarterbacks, because they thrust them into a situation too quickly when you don't have all the pieces. And then when things go awry, you're looking around and everybody's wondering why things aren't kosher and why the quarterback isn't playing well when you don't have all the pieces. Your offensive line stinks. You have no weapons outside that anybody respects. So, of course, with a rookie quarterback, they can just load up the box and say, hey, we'll take you throwing to beat us. We'll just put pressure on you. And if you beat us, then tip of the cap to you. So those things are things that you have to look at. Drag Race Mayhem says, like even Brady and Mahomes were extremely developed, and he had decent defenses and teams around them. People forget how great early Belichick defense were. Agreed, and that's what's so important about all of this, is making sure that you have the ability to have the weapons around. That is a big reason why Jaden Daniels was so successful, because they had pieces around him. And you also have to have an offensive mind that understands what the quarterback's strengths are at that time, and then be able to be creative off of those things, especially in their first year. And then as you see them maturate throughout the year, you can throw in little wrinkles within the offense throughout the year that people haven't seen. I mean, if you go back and look at what Kyle Shanahan did with RG3 in his first year, you look at what uh, you know was done with Jaden Daniels in his first year. It's all about understanding what your player's capable of doing, and then being able to be creative off of what they do best. And that's where things are get difficult for some teams. Um, you know, Looking at this first round draft, the Giants have now become a lethal weapon. Now, it's all going to be contingent on that meatball GM that still has his job, yet has a losing record as a general manager. The same guy who thought it was a good idea to trade away Saquon Barkley, when Saquon Barkley was the reason why Daniel Jones was good in that year and you paid him that money. He now has the job of having two first round picks. And these two first round picks for the Giants, I think, can catapult them into along with having Harbaugh there, can catapult them into a conversation about being one of the 7 playoff teams that make it. Division winners, not sure. That division's strange, very strange. It hasn't been really a consistent winner of that division in, a long time. So you look at the other teams in that division. I really don't count the Cowboys at all. You see, Washington made a lot of moves. They should be a lot stronger than they were last year, especially given the fact that they will have more. They got younger and they won't have all these injuries. I mean, most of their team was, over 60% of the team was injured. And they were playing people they weren't counting on that were supposed to be rotational guys. Philadelphia can never be counted out. I still think the the Philadelphia Eagles' problem is Nick Sirianni, but because of the team and because of Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, I don't see AJ Brown being there, but if he is there, they have weapons to be able to win ball games. They're a win waiting to happen. So can Harbaugh, with these draft picks and what they have there in New York, and along with their rookie quarterback in his second year now, be able to generate offense and have some level of consistency and be a better, more well-rounded defense, especially up front. We'll see. That will remain to be seen. But I tell you what, them having the fifth pick and the 10th pick is not going to hurt. They have offensive line issues. They have cornerback issues. They have wide receiver issues, linebacker issues. They need D line. So there's a plethora of things that they need, and they are able to get two really good players there. Look at the Chiefs, haven't been up here in a while in the ninth pick here. So they'll get an opportunity to get themselves a weapon as well. But I'm very interested in the Raiders, the Jets, the Titans, and the Browns, and seeing what they do. The Dolphins there at 11, and those are the teams that I'm watching. The Jets have two picks in the first round. I believe it's just two. Yeah, they have two picks in the first round as well. What are they going to be able to do? Hopefully, they can turn it around in this second year. They have to. They have to, because I don't see them being patient enough. They likely will fire their head coach. That's just, I don't agree with it, because there's a lot that needs to be done. A lot that needs to be done before we start talking about, um, yeah, I think it's going to be AJ to New England as well. Before we start talking about them being a contender, but I don't think they're far off if they do what they do. He'd love to hear my take on. Oh, okay, that we can do that. Um, Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. It is fishy, but I know some things that people seem to dance around because they have relationships with Rossini. And I'm just gonna be honest. The fact of the matter is that the way she goes about her business has always been the same way she goes about her business that affects other women within these types of positions. And you, as a reporter, have to understand that there is a line. Now, I have relationships with drivers, I have relationships with players, but you have to understand, if I'm a married man and I know said cheerleader, or I know said race car driver, and we're hanging out at the beach and you're draped all over, or she's draped all over you, you have to know that that's going to be viewed as something ain't right, especially when we're talking about married people. Now, whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do in your own business. That's it. But look, she has a history. All I have to say is there is a real reason in the Jay Gruden era. There's a reason why she was no longer on the beat with the Washington then Redskins. There's a reason. So If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a damn duck. And yes, there's something fishy going on. And you can sit here and try to spin it all you want to, but that's that. um, yeah, that's that. So it is what it is. But I'm not okay with it because it hurts. It hurts women in this industry that are doing the right thing. It really does. And that kind of stuff cannot be tolerated. But the fact that we have people, you know, acting like this isn't happening, it's been happening. Oh, I don't think. Like I said, her track record says otherwise. Her track record says her favorite play is 50 gut. Read between the lines. So no, I don't think there's no ifs. You were doing the wrong thing and you got caught. I mean, you got to be smarter than the average bear, right? Like we are in 2026. They pick you up if you see Mike Vrabel or any head coach. They're picking you up quick. I could tell you guys some stories, especially about Jay Gruden. That I could tell you some stories. There's a reason why that whole scandal got brought to light with the emails and all that nonsense. There's a reason. There's a reason. I believe there's some video of him out there too on YouTube somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't good. That guy's face was red for a reason. Too much late night drinking. And you wonder why the team wasn't winning. Yeah. I knew you meant that sarcastically. But yeah, that's my take on that. That's my take on that. We will go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we will talk about the 4 Wide Nationals, which I'm looking forward to, and should be interesting. Should be interesting. There's a lot of great cars out here, and it really is going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. But we'll talk about it right after the break.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
So car count is great here with the 4 Wide Nationals. We've got 19 top fuelers. We got 17 funny cars, 21 pro stockers, and just 16 bikes. There's some interesting names on the list when you look at the different categories. Looking at top fuel, Scott Farley is there. You see Spencer Massey on the board. You got Keith Mert on the board. Dan Mercier is there. So there's some names. I'm scratching my head here because not only is Ida Zetterstrom on the list, Sean Reed is on the list. So I'm not sure if they're running 2 cars or not. I have not reached out to confirm or deny that, but both of their names are on that list. Yes, we'll get to that. We're going to get to that. Hold that thought. We're going to get to that. So I'm not sure. I'll reach out, but and I'll get to that. We're going to talk about that too there, Drag Race Mayhem. We're going to talk about that too. You look at, we lost our logo in the background. Let's get to the funny cars. There are some interesting names on the list there. Hunter Green is in the car this weekend. I thought I saw it. There's John Smith is out there. Jeff Aren is on the board. I believe that's still the replacement driver for Jim Dunn. I don't know if that means that this is permanent or he's still battling an injury, maybe a back injury or something of that nature. Phil Burkhart will be out there. Phil Burkhart Jr., that is, will be out there. And that is some of the newer name. Jeff Deal is also on the board as well for Funny Car. Pro Stock is your same, some of your same names. I think there's a few others in there. In Pro Stock Motorcycle, there's Michael Ray Jr. There is also Clayton Howie that will be out there. So those names will be making the board, and I think it's Chris Vane. Let me look. Roger Brogdon is on the board. Shane Tucker. Let's see. No, those are the names. Stephen Bell. I think he was been racing, but you've got Alan Persinski in a pro stocker, Richard Brogdon, and there will be Shane Tucker. So should be fun. I'm really this is the last race of the first quarter of the regular season, and some teams are going to want to finish pretty strong here. When you look at the standings, you've got Doug Coletta number 1, Sean Langdon 2, Josh Hart 3, Tony 4, Leah 5 in Top Fuel. In Funny Car, Rom Caps 1, Matt Hagan 2, J.R. Todd 3, Chad Green 4, Jordan Vandergriff 5. So Pro Stock, Dallas Glenn, Greg Anderson, Greg Stanfield, Matt Hartford, and Erica Enders rounds out your top 5. And in Pro Stock Motorcycle, look, it stayed the same because Richard won. He's at the top. John Hall second. Clayton Howie, who raced in Gainesville, there in third. Steve Johnson fourth. Matt Smith rounds out your top 5. This is their second race of the regular season, and I hate it with a passion. It is. I hate the fact that that's a long gap before they come back out. It's almost like it would suck for them not to be in Gainesville, but then that's the making the case that maybe we should go back to the way we had it. And I love Gainesville being the number 1 race, but maybe we should go back to starting out there, working our way back, and let Gainesville be the first race for the bikes, and then they can continue on without having this big 2-week, 3-week, almost month gap before they show back up again. So very, very, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm really interested to see who comes out of this thing and be able to snag a win. 1 round shorter, 1 round of qualifying shorter. Should be play into some hands of some people that have some momentum. I see Memphis Lonnie talking about Jasmine Salinas here. I think, yeah, she's supposed to be there. She is in the let's see. I believe that she is in there. She is supposed to be at the 4 wide there. So I'll go back, but I believe that her name is on the docket. Yes, it is on the docket. So, yes, she will be there. I think this is a race that plays into her hands a little bit. You know, everybody has the little starting line issues, and that's why I think they allow them to cycle through all 4 lanes. It helps because apparently when you're in those 2 inside lanes, it's a little weird of where you're looking. So everybody has the little mix-ups early, and usually people get the jitters out by the end of it. But I'm looking for someone that isn't a big name to win this weekend in all 3 categories. I think, like I said, for a Jan or a Leah Pruitt, I think this race sets up very well for them. Strong running cars, 1 less round. All you need is, all you need to be, at least in the first 2 rounds, is to be to the finish line first or second to get in. So those type of these type of races allow for a upset pick to be able to be in there. I look at the funny car, those who are showing up in funny car. Uh, you still got Spencer Hyde. This is a great time that he could get involved. Uh, Daniel Wilkerson, another one. I think this plays right into an Austin Prock's hands. If it wasn't for the the failure of the kill switch, they run a good number. So I think they'll figure it out. And I think they could. This is a race they could sneak up and steal. So I'm really excited to see Alexis DeJoria, another one that J.R. Todd as well. There's a lot of names out there that aren't at the top that have an opportunity to kind of steal this thing. Top alcohol dragster 14, top alcohol funny car 7. Yeah, that's bad. I think it's going to get worse too, by the way. So, thoughts on the pro stock rule change starting this weekend? I think it's a good thing because we've got to do something. It's a stale piece of bread to have all the same cars, all the same setups come out every week. And you have your lone Ford that's running a Chevrolet engine. Just the body. It's not good for this class. And we're all thankful for what Richard Freeman and KB Titan Racing have done for the pro stock class. But if we don't start doing this here, what happens when those two entities are no longer here? You have no pro stock class. We have got to find a way to allow and have other people to have an opportunity to bring out a different combination and that we can have a full representation of our manufacturers. We have got to get them back involved in this class. Innovation has to come back to this class because there's really not much more you can do because everybody's running the same combination. Same stuff, same combination. It becomes boredom. And I think, pro stock used to be the class that the stands were full for before you ever even got to Nitro. People were sitting watching pro stock motorcycle because they wanted to see pro stock. And that's not the case anymore. when it's first round and we've done Top Fuel and Funny Car, folks are like, yep, I'm going to go back there and see these boys put these engines together. I'm going back there and get me a couple shots of nitro when they go warm these things up. Because there's just not the involvement. And it's huge. It is huge. I really think that they need to scale it to the point that we are running actual factory cars. These things they're tube chassis elongated cars that look like it to a degree. But they're not like it. And we've lost that element. I don't care about the hood scoops. I told you guys that. I really don't. That's cute. But this here makes a difference. So we'll see. I'm sure there'll need to be some tweaking and refining of it. I'm sure there were a lot of people, great minds involved in helping to make this decision. So it should go off without a hitch. We'll see if any of it, I don't know if you have time to do some of these things that, they're saying that you can do starting this weekend. People want to make the field. They don't want to be out here testing. So we'll see. We'll see. If it came after that, my stuff would be on fire in the yard. Man, it's rough out here, guys. I mean, it's It is rough out here. Like they're telling people to cut their lawns before 10. Now I saw the road crews out there for DOT out there cutting the grass in the middle of the day. You could literally start a fire from your lawnmower blade. That's how dry it is here. Like we're in the exponential drought. Terrible. We've got some wildfires out here too. There is actually a wildfire in Gainesville. I think it's Alachua County. It's close to some neighborhoods, from what I saw. So it's wild out here. It's California, and I remember. I think about 2012 is when you could drive down 10 and there'd be like fires along the, nothing blazing, but like little fires that were still burning along I-10 coming east, in about 2012. So they say it hasn't been this dry since then. So at least for this long. Says, I feel that not a fan of 3-week break. IndyCar is on the ATM. Yeah, I don't. I don't like it. It's dry. And they almost like they start over. It's like your season starts over again. You had your season opener, but then you have another season opener. Man, back in the 70s, the manufacturers were as big as the drivers were. They really were. And it was a manufacturer's war out there. And they just don't have that anymore. So the only issue is the manufacturers want combinations that produce, which the fans would cry. You can't please them all. He said would cry if they actually made Pro Stock V6 turbos. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying whatever your V8 is, and at this point, I know Pontiac is dead, but I mean, there's still cars circulating out there. You can still figure out how to build one. I mean, people aren't stupid. They know how to build cars. And the engines and how to build those engines are still out there. I don't know if the parts are hard to come by, but I'm sure you can figure out. We got all these teams got the ability to make their own parts anyway. So figure it out. But at least Camaro, Dodge, Ford should be represented in some way, shape, or form. And I think, why not find a way to get Toyota in? I know they're not interested, but somebody make a Toyota Pro Stock, a Lexus Pro Stock. They got V8s. Got to find a way to have variety. I say the same thing about Pro Mod, and at times it's just a bunch of Camaros out there. But the auto manufacturers are gone and they aren't coming back. That is true. They're not. I think we had this conversation privately, but if you go and look at Cadillac does not make any cars anymore. They're all SUVs. Remember the 2-door sports car they used to have? Yeah, that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. All they have is SUVs. Most manufacturers have a lot of SUVs. So they're going to have to open the class back up to 4 doors at this rate. They're going to have to do something. Because they've got to figure it out. Dave W. says if a manufacturer wanted cars racing engines, they produce NASCAR would be turbo V6s, but there aren't. Yeah, you're not going to see a V6 out there. You want a V6, you go race that in super stock somewhere. That's a good question. I think the big issue is they don't see the value here in drag racing. They're just not. You're right. They're not drag racing. So maybe the sport should do a better job promoting itself. It has to, and I think this TV deal has to be even better than what it has been. I mean, dude, we've got ESPN bringing on wrestlers to First Take and all these other shows. Wrestlers, a predetermined sport. And we can't figure out how to get our drivers within the TV cycle. More than just in Indiana or special occasions. I'm talking about consistently. Fantasizing about what they think it should be and enjoy what it is. I agree. I mean, but I also think there needs to be, for the sake of the racer, there needs to be some variety. I'm sure people, I mean, I'd love to see Dodge back in it. I'd love to see Ford back in it, literally with Ford engines back in it competing. But it is what it is. But it is what it is. It has an ending if we stay the way that we're going right now. It has an expiration date. The mindset is why we're in the position in the first place. Yeah. Let me fast forward a little bit. You know they're not working. It's trash. You know it too. You see what WWE's trying to do. They have way more influencers than ever. They keep trying to tell you, oh, they always have had celebrities. No, not at this rate. But you can thank TKO for that. Shame Toyota is gone and could have had a Camry with Toyota or Lexus in Pro Stock. They really could have. I mean, it is possible. If you can do it in NASCAR, you sure enough can do it in the NHRA. So they had the Street Glow Imports series with front wheel race cars and factory sport. It died less than 10 years. It did. It's sad. But it is what it is. Yeah. No, they don't. If you go look at, I don't think they make those anymore. You can buy them, but they're not making them. They're not in production. All you see is a bunch of SUVs when you go to the Cadillac website. It's crazy. Oh, man, you guys are great. I'm going to get back to where we at. Before we get out of here, I want to get to what we saw. And I got to find Memphis Lonnie's post here. I got to get back to what we saw on. Here we go. So, man, I had a feeling she was coming out. I didn't think that she was going to come out and say that. My wife said as she was walking out that she looked pregnant. I didn't really see it until after the fact. But how is she pregnant and still have a six-pack, by the way? But I didn't predict that either. And I'm happy for her. It's great. You know, she's still, I don't know if she's still injured or not. But you already injured. What a better time to do that now. And I know Naomi has already had her baby, so I don't know when. It'd be cool if they both came back together at some point, but I think Naomi will probably be back first before maybe she'll be back by the Royal Rumble. I would think that's probably what they would do, is bring her back for the Royal Rumble. But yeah, that was a surprise. Other than that, man, I'm gonna be straightforward with you. That was not WrestleMania. It did not feel like WrestleMania. It felt a little bit more like it on Sunday. But to me, it felt like a Saturday night, Sunday night main event. Saturday was absolute, utter garbage. There's no other way to put it. The best match was Seth and Gunther. And the issue with all of this is they don't build and did not build any storylines. We were working off stuff thrown together and storylines that we just kept talking about for 7 weeks straight. Coming out, running their gums, and it just wasn't good. You know, you had all that build up for Liv and Stephanie, especially on Friday at SmackDown. All that vitriol, and it didn't even show up in the match. The fact that we had 4-minute matches, you had way more ad time than you had match time. We saw more ads than wrestling. That's a problem. And I don't like every finish. You can go back and look at WWE Unreal. And Triple H promotes and talks about catching the fans at their peak. And basically, exclamation point when the finish happens to get the big pop. And every time they had an opportunity to do that, the fans would be up here. You could feel that they were just waiting for something big to happen. And then we got two guys, or we got people fumbling around and flopping around like fish on the ground. They allow the crowd to come all the way down to silence. And then all of a sudden, the winner hits his or her finish 1-2, and it's done. And you get no pop. I don't know what we're doing, but rumors seem to be true that TKO has a lot of input in creative. And it showed this weekend. Now, everybody talked about Paige coming back. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't care. Paige didn't do nothing in AEW. So, what exactly are they going to do with her here? It's a novelty. She'll be out front for a little bit, and she'll go back to the island relevancy as soon as they're done. Just like she was before when she was here. Because they barely know what to do with the talent that they're bringing up. And that's where I'm a little nervous. Oba's not going to have a problem. But I do have a problem with they couldn't give us a 6-minute match. That match was 4 minutes and 35 seconds. That's unacceptable. When the fans were literally like blowing up over that, it could have gone for 6 minutes. But couldn't do that because we wanted to bring out Danhausen and his little minions to do that ignorant stuff that killed time. And then we waste 30 minutes with commercials and other BS to get to the main event. That could have been wrestling matches in between. I mean, we were to the main event by 8:30 on Sunday. That's a problem. But the reason why this was not good, it was definitely worse than WrestleMania 41. And to me, WrestleMania 41 was bad. And they've been bad ever since WrestleMania 41. Is that we're not telling stories here. There's no reason why Sami Zayn, the gingerbread man, had any business being in the main event or being in that match with the U.S. title against Trick. Should have been Melo and Trick. But you disrespect Melo and take the title off of him and don't let him have a WrestleMania moment. I'm happy that Trick Williams won. I knew that at least one African American was going to win, but they weren't letting two Negroes win titles in the same night. So I knew Javon Evans was not going to win. It was either going to be Javon or Trick Williams. That's it. You're not getting two. They never do that. But the question is, I fear that Trick Williams is Melo 2.0. Are we going to do the fighting champion thing again that we're wearing the hell out? And then when we get tired of him, we just going to abruptly take the belt off of him in some meaningless match. Because we don't know what to do with him. Look at Lyra Valkyria. She's been relegated to being Bailey's lackey And they really don't care about Bayley because they didn't know what to do with her. They brought her in, put the title on her, and you changed her as a character, and it ruined her mic skills. Stephanie Valkyra, same thing. They don't know what to do with her. That woman defended the title, I think, twice. And to me, they put the title on Jade too soon. Jade wasn't ready. But you mean to tell me that Tony Khan could figure out how to make her a star? Tony Khan got her paid in WWE. But WWE couldn't look at this and say, you know what? Okay, she's not really good at talking on the mic. No problem. She has some flaws in the ring that she needs to work on. She definitely doesn't play defense very well. She does offense very well, but she doesn't sell a damn thing. She couldn't sell you a free ticket. And you couldn't have taken a guy like Paul Heyman and put her with Jade and run her like Brock Lesnar, a woman version of Brock Lesnar, until she could master the other things that are needed. Kind of like what you've done with Braun Breaker, who has gotten better talking on the mic, but struggled. Why is it that people on the outside can see these things and yet these folks can't? And to me, I just think they have too many old heads in the room. And I see why Road Dogg left creative. Because he had a lot of great ideas, but they're consistent on doing what they've been doing. That's why we're back to the point where we are now. We've got people in upwards of 38 to 40 some years old holding championship titles. And we're bringing in people like Sol Ruka. We're bringing in Joe Hendry. We're bringing in Ethan Page. Possibly Ricky Saints. Why though? Trick Williams. We don't know where's the direction? Because the people you brought in this last wave, you didn't do anything with, and now they're in the island of obscurity. We don't know what they're going to be doing. They've been relegated to goofy tag team matches. But all I got to say is it's about the money now. And we might as well get used to it. You want an alternative? There's plenty of them out there. CML, AEW, TNA. NXT is a better product. That was a absolute surprise. I wish we got a chance to see this Brock a little while longer. He was fun in his late career. A lot of people don't think that he's retired. I believe he is. I think WWE will act like what Gunther said to Paul Heyman about him owing him a favor. Many people think that Paul Heyman still owes Gunther that favor, and basically Gunther's going to say he's not retired until I retire him. And that this retirement isn't really real. But I think it is. And I think WWE will act like that was not said and did not happen. Kind of like with the whole thing with The Rock and the Soul and all that other nonsense. The turning and John Cena being and siding with Rock. And then all of a sudden, Rock just disappears. And we act like none of that happened. And we move forward like none of that happened. Even though we're mad about it. And we know that was crap. But we're just going to act like it didn't happen. I think that's what's going to happen. Because I do think he did and is retired. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sedans, but no coupes. It was nice to see Montez Ford out there. I really hope, they've done the Street Profits dirty before their, disappearance off of TV for a bit. How about Angelo Dawkins coming in? He done slimmed down, and Montez Ford looks like he's in tip top shape. I'm hoping that this means that they get back in the title picture, because they deserved to have the titles before they obscurely took them off of them for, I don't know, some people we don't even know who had the titles, because they didn't matter. I'm not happy about this either, but it is what it is. Again, it's about the money. It is a travesty. And likely, there is talk that, see, my theory, my look is, and I thought Oba said it best on the post show, that he's talking about going after the tribal chief within a year, which is perfect, because I think there needs to be a build. Let's see what Oba does with this spotlight. He's way over. Let's see what he does with the spotlight, and let's see how we build towards that. And then it be Oba and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 43. But there's talk that the Saudis want a Roman and Rock. Now I'm going to tell you, nobody wants to see that. Rock, it was cool to see him back in the ring, but he's slow. He is so slow. Age catches up with you, and it has. It's just not the same. But it is a travesty, because they're about the money. Yes, it is. It is next to Gilligan's Island. It is. It is. And it's not too far from the island of irrelevancy either. I will say Blimphausen was a good bit. It was. With all of that, I'm happy for Danhausen, because this is exactly where he needs to be. It's AEW just wasn't for him. But this is perfect for him. This is what WWE likes. And I thought the whole thing with the minions and all that, it was funny. I'll give you that. But when we've had 7, 4, and 9-minute matches, and you spent more time on this than you did on important matches, I have a problem with that. That's not good. But I look forward to seeing him and Truth get together. Can you imagine that whole ordeal? Yeah, he's 48. He's 48. But they have got to start doing a youth movement, and they need to do it fast. Because all of your champions are upwards of 38 and 40. I mean, CM Punk is next to 50. This can't keep going this way. But they don't believe. They bring these people up, but they claim they don't believe in these people that they bring up to be the youth movement. Yes, very good comp, by the way, tying in wrestling with drag racing. Very good comp. I'll give you that. Yes, I agree. And that should have been the only blimp, by the way. That's all they needed. But yeah, that's my take on WrestleMania 42. Very unfortunate for us, but I guess we just get used to it. Good thing we got AEW and other places to be able to watch good wrestling, because I don't know where we go here on this reset heading into next year of WWE. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the show. It's been a blast. Look forward to seeing what goes on here this weekend in the world of drag racing and NBA playoffs and NFL draft. There's a ton for you guys to watch. Enjoy it. Until next Tuesday, y'all be good.
Razor lines cut clean, turn sharp like a hometown savior. NASCAR drifting my blood when the pace get wild. I talk speed like a veteran, move calm like a smile. Legends born out of sweat, out of heartbreaks echo. I break plays down smooth, call the game like a maestro. Every lane that we touch, every story we show. This is where the truth runs, the not blend show. Fast lanes, fast breaks, whole crowd froze. Big drives, deep shots, watch a moment explode. Every angle hit heavy with the champion's glow. Step into the kingdom, the not playing show. Fast lanes, fast race, whole crowd froze. Big drives, deep shots, watch the moment explode. Every angle hit heavy with the champion's glow. Step into the kingdom, the not playing show.